colouring with colourful crafts. I thought I'm going to first of all share with you what I've been buying again. So here I've recently purchased this, which is a cotton, I think it describes it as a smooth paper and cotton watercolour hand stitched journal. I got this from Cardi Papers, anyway, cardi.com. They do like a load of arts and crafts and journals particularly. Why I decided to purchase this one is mainly because, now I know there are a lot of YouTubers out there who, I'm sure if you've watched them, you know, they do their own kind of hand-stitched journals, and they're very good at putting together the pieces and bits and everything, and kind of all stitching it together in a journal, which I have done. That is one that I did show on, I might have shown on one of my previous ones. I did this. This was a Jane Devonport kind of inspired journal, which obviously wasn't the best I've ever done, but there was that one, and it was fun. But I must say, I found the whole thing of stitching together a book and tying it, and I don't know, it might just be me, but I find it a bit awkward, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. So I just thought, you know what, sod it, take out the unnecessary stress and just buy one. So that's what I've done. And I'm planning on going over this today and showing you with just my Winsor & Newton watercolour brushes, how it takes to the watercolour, using a very good technique that I have come across on another channel called, if I can introduce them, called Willa Wonders. Now, she's like a painting, relaxation, mixed media artist. She also does her own, like, well, her video, like a lot of videos on watercolour and the use of that. And also another thing recently that I've been watching was her colour harmony. Those videos are really good to watch if you want to get into watercolour but you're just not very confident with it, because I know I'm not confident with it. So it was really helpful to watch that, and she just kind of goes over what colour combinations work and how you can just have two colours, pardon me, just two colours together and just limit your palette to those two, and then work with them and see, you know, how those progress. Now, funnily enough, she actually chose herself a green, I believe it was green and pink theme colour palette, just greens and pinks, that's it, nothing else. And she said, you know, try if you can to just pick two colour palettes that you like, whichever speaks to you, and go with that. Now, funnily enough, her kind of inspiration behind hers was, as a girl, she used to have this on the wallpaper in the bedrooms and everything. And funnily, mine also comes from childhood, but more to do with my particularly my grandparents, who were very big fans of, well, my grandma, anything floral or, you know, roses, anything like that, she loved. And whenever I was a little girl and I used to go around, she would always have lots of roses on the table, lots of bunches of flowers, even fake flowers around the house, teapots with the lovely, you know, roses and green, and all the wallpaper in particular. That was a big thing that she liked, the floral wallpapers. So from a point of view of that, I, funnily enough, myself have chosen the same colour combinations, because to me, they conjure up the warmth and security of that moment in your life where, you know, you've yet to find, I suppose, the hardships of life, and to really discover that perhaps things aren't always rose tinted, but at least, you know, it's nice to look back and to and so that's what I'm going to do with this. And I'm going to follow one of her techniques today. So I'll just see if I can, and yeah, and get into it for you. So I'm going to open this. I think we'll just open it this way. It seems a shame to waste even the backing here, because this little I don't know what you call it, wrapping, it's so nice for just even putting in, you know, say another journal if you want to include this. It just says handmade paper, sketchbook, smooth cotton rag, you see, all that kind of thing. But I just like the handwriting, you know, the kind of blotchy, inky handwriting. I just think it's nice, a free bit of paper to use if you ever want it. So here we have the book. It's been specially bound in this recycled paper, I believe it is. Those papers on the back, and all of this paper is bound. I don't know if you can see that, nicely bound there together with the oh, and I love the smell of, oh, I just love the smell of paper. All nicely bound, and it's got these lovely torn edges. If you watch Willa's channel, I think a lot of her journals have that lovely torn edged paper, and I just absolutely love it. So what I was thinking of is to test out first some of these really nice watercolours at the front that I have. And the ones we're going to test out today are going to be the little Paul Rubens, which I've shown you before. These little ones. I've got a whole bag of them. Just ignore the one Winsor & Newton gouache that I have somehow managed to end up in my little collection there. But apart from that, these are all, as you can see, all the paints. Some of them I've been into, some of them I've used, some of them I haven't. But that's what we're going to be working with. So I'm thinking, because I am going with a pink and oh, sorry, I'm not quite in camera there. A pink and green kind of themed thing here, then that is what I'm going to do. If you give me just a minute, I'm just going to, well, in fact, it doesn't matter. I'll use this. As you can see, I have ink from before, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to go in now and mix up, if I can find it, a nice combination of pink, and I guess you would call that more of a pink. Now, you see, this says permanent red violet, but I call that more pink. I think that would be fine for it. This one is, oh no, this is better. This is a rose. This is a definite one to include on that, since we were really wanting to go down the rose and green theme. And then obviously we're going to have a selection of greens. And the wonderful thing about this is, even if you're just working with two colours, you can get a lot of different colours from the two colours that you're using, which is a bit like she was kind of describing on her channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, see, I'm still managing to find greens here. I'm going to try and kind of go with a few of these colours, and just having a look in the rest of them here. They don't seem to have a lot in terms of pink. It seems more to be oranges, green, blues. So I've got quite a few selections of greens, and then I've got my little bit of pink. So I'm going to mix a few of these up in this palette just to see. And as you can see, I'm using a very small amount because you don't need much with this. These are very intense watercolours. Because I said it before, they are pigments. So with them being a watercolour pigment, they do tend to come out a lot stronger than you would necessarily get from just a watercolour. So I'm going to mix a few greens, and then we're going to try this other red next to this one here. And then, oh, it's not seeming to come out. I'm going to put it again in the other one, and I'm going to mix a few of the greens with the red to try and see what colour combinations we can get from just these colours. And I've got my thing of water at the side here. So I'm going to go in with the pink and a bit of green and just kind of see if we merge them together, what can we get? There you go. But see how strong that colour is. These are just the Paul Rubens watercolour pigments. Yes, they are very, very strong, but I like the strength of them. So I'm just going to swatch. If you want to watch someone swatch, I mean, some people find it quite relaxing. So here we go. There we go. That's another a nice part there. Those are just a sense of what the colours are going to do and come out. I'm going to try this other green here. This one's a bit more of a lighter green, so this might come out a bit different. But oh, it takes to the paper really well. Oh, that's lovely. See that? It kind of feels, when you're going over it, it feels, it has a comfortable feeling on the paper. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't think you can kind of tell what it feels like until you've actually done it yourself, but it's got a really comfortable feel on that page. It seems to like absorb into it, and it's not bleeding through either, which is another good thing. So let's go for a bit of a rose tinge here. Now I've watered this one down a bit more than the other, but that's going on really nice. That's a lovely colour. That, you know, and instantly when I see these colours, I'm transported back to my childhood. And it's such a comforting place, because somehow in your childhood nothing can hurt you. Like when you grow up, and I don't know about you, but when you grow up, it seems like everything is, oh, this is going to be a bit of a rambly video if I carry on, but everything is very tough and very difficult and very not as forgiving as you might have interpreted the world before. And it's a bit of a realisation of that, really. I don't know why I'm saying it on camera, but I just, you know, I thought maybe if people felt the same way as I did, then, you know. Anyway, we'll go back to the matter in hand. So these are really nice colours to use. And they go, what I'm doing now is I'm actually trying to water it down a bit, because I think these two top ones were a bit thick. And you see how deep and how they almost look like, these two almost look like I would have done them in, what's it called? Like a gouache paint, or maybe not even gouache, like more of an acrylic paint, because it's so deep and intense. Whereas these, I've added a bit more water to it and it's spread it out a lot better. So I think that's what I'm going to try and do, is to just add a little bit more water. I'm going to mix in some of the green with some of that pink and see what colour we can get out of that. Now you see, I can't really see at the side here properly, but I'm just mixing that up a bit just to see what we can't get from those together. And again, we're getting something that's, yeah, it's quite different there, isn't it? Again, that's a richer pink, a deeper pink. That's a nice colour. Now let's say if we just use a tiny bit of pink and then a tiny bit of this light green and put those together. A bit more green maybe. All I'm doing, as you can see, is just mixing them slightly together there to see what tones we can get out. Oh, perhaps I haven't put enough water in with that. But there we go, we're getting like a nice, you see how you can get different colours going on with the different interpretations that you can try on these things. It is really wonderful. I do like it. I do like this a lot. This is certainly something to do if you're kind of in one of those moods, I don't know, where you want to just trying to relax and to paint and to, you know, it's a very good, watercolour to me at least is a very, very good way of relaxing, of just going back to a place where you can, I do apologise for my arm getting in the way, where you can just relax and almost essentially be a child again and just play. And it is a really nice way of relaxing. I mean, some people obviously relax with different sort of you know, everyone's different, aren't they? But anyway, but I just think it's nice to get into that. I'm going to try some more greens. I'm going to try some of this. We have got deep green, so I'm going to try a bit of that. Now this one is quite a deep green, so I'm just going across I'm mixing in a little bit of colour with this. And again, I do apologise for my arm being in the way. So I'm trying a bit of this deeper green. And again, I've added some more water to it because I think, like at the top, I wasn't adding enough. And now I'm feeling a bit better about that. There you go. That's better, isn't it? Ah, that's a bit better. I mean, look at the colours. Look at the colour combinations that you can get out of just 2 colours is a kind of way of teaching you that you don't need all the spectrum of colours. You don't need the reds, the orange. You can just select 2 colours, and with those 2 colours, work together. Work them in, you know, make something out of them. I think it's a great way of exploring the what you can actually do. So I wasn't really aware of that at first, and then I had to go myself, and I realised, oh, you know, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Again, here I'm using a little bit more of the paint, maybe not as much of the, you see, as much of the water in that. But it's all simply to do with what you want. And there is another slight combination. That was pink with a bit more green added to it, and you get more of like a fleshy tone pink. But they work. These paints work really well on this paper. This paper, as I said before, I think is a cotton and watercolor paper together. So it's kind of like a, I think that seems to take to these paints particularly well. These ones seem to really work well on it. Now, I do have my cheaper alternative Winsor & Newton paints here from before. I'm just going to see how these react to it, and if these react differently, because the chances are they might. I've put another little bit up there. Let's see what that works like. Oh, see, that's not bad either, but I've had to really, really dig into the pot there to get that pink, and I'm not as convinced that that works as nicely as these. I'm definitely more inclined to go towards the Paul Rubens. This again is some pink with a bit of water mixed, a bit of not water, white mixed in with it. So you can see there it's coming out. I mean, they're all quite good. They're all brilliant colours. I'll try a bit of this olive green here. Oh, you see the olive green's quite nice as well on there. And that's just a bit of water. A bit more. I've really had to kind of rub into the paints here. And by that, I mean, like, really rub into it with the paintbrush to get that colour. I wouldn't have necessarily have to do that, I think, with the other ones because there's such a high pigment in them. But again, it's looking quite good in terms of, I mean, that it does take to it okay, I think. I don't like it as much as these ones here, but yeah, I'm not as keen on them, but they are still quite nice. They are still quite nice. I'm quite pleased. I'm quite pleased overall with how it is. I think I'd use either, to be honest. I just find that these spread around the edge just a little bit more than I would like, whereas the Paul Rubens kind of don't have that much of a spread around the edge, if you see what I mean. But it's all preference, really. Anyway, I thought I would just give it those a little test out for you and see how that went. And yeah, and hopefully I will fill up this book with more lovely colours, and maybe potential more videos in the future of me just painting and just seeing how it works out. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video anyway, and thanks for watching. Bye!